Hi, everyone. A very warm welcome once again. Can you all see me? Can you hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. I am so glad to be here, and thank you to Mentor Mitr for this amazing opportunity to be in front of all of you and talk about this very interesting topic that is competitive versus collaborative behavior, a comparison. And indeed, this is very interesting because time and again, every day we are faced with situation. Should you think about being very competitive or being more collaborative? So thank you so much, Mr. Feroz Ekbarov, for this amazing. Hello. You can still see me, right?
Oh,
Yes,
yes, ma'am,
ma'am.
we can see you.
Okay, sorry. Yes. So thank you, Mr. Feroz Akbarov. These were great insights. And from here on, we take it forward. We're going to talk about competition and collaboration in a generic sense, as well as talk about how it is important in your professional or corporate scenarios. So let's talk about first how and what do you understand by collaborative behavior. So this basically starts with the basic question of what can we do together that we could not really do alone. Collaboration, as rightly explained by the previous speaker, is when individuals or groups, when they work together, they are working toward a bigger or a shared set of goals. And this gives them the opportunity to combine their strengths and almost negating their weaknesses to achieve those goals. In fact, the beginning of collaboration causes so many powerful teams and partnerships that probably would not have been the same if they stayed only with their individual skills, resources, or beliefs. Now, collaboration actually needs us to focus on six very important skills. Now, the one and the most important of all is coming together with an open minded mindset that is important for all of us to cultivate eventually. Because what happens in collaboration is when several people come together, they all might have different, fresh, various ideas coming from different perspectives. Now, when we all come together, it might change your view about something, and you need to be ready to accept it if it is really that worth. The second most important thing is communication. The way you present your ideas, the way you communicate your ideas, the way you work on something, and then also communicate if it works in some way or if you see flaws somewhere. So, communication is another very important factor that promotes collaboration in a beautiful way. And then we have organization. Now, when there are so many people or groups or teams involved, there needs to be a process. There needs to be a system in which everybody can give their contribution and then work together. Because it might be very easy for this situation to turn messy if you do not have an organized system. Now, talking about collaboration, you always need to be focused on what the goal is. In terms of you have a shared set of goals, and you have to understand that you all have to focus on the long term goal. Now, because many of you are giving your contribution, it might be easy to get deviated because of one person, one team, or one group. And it is important for all of you to keep your focus strongly on the goal that you all are working towards. And finally, because of this very situation, many situations might go in an unexpected or an unplanned way. For this, you also need to work on your adaptability skills, that once you are in a situation that you did not expect, how are you going to come out of it, or how are you going to turn it into a better one. Now that we have understood what collaboration is, let's talk about competitiveness. Now, it's a measure to surpass someone else. That is, you start thinking that you can only win when you defeat another person. And throughout human history, we have realized that we've always competed in order to survive. Now, whether it is justifying your food or whether it is to fight your predators, in some way or the other, you have learned that competition is important in order to survive or come out at the top. Now, not only that, we have taken this long term, and today we see our professional and corporate world greatly uses competition to fuel each other's excellence. Competition is not only important in your professional life, but you've also realized in your social lives there are many aspects where you need to be competitive in order to stand and out in order to outstand when there's a large group of people. Now, this is also a crucial factor in driving economic growth. It also enables a person to perform to one's best ability in sport. It inspires a higher level of play. Now, not only that, but competition will inspire you to perform better and push your limits. But at its worst, competition might also be able to create unhealthy self comparison or judgment. And this eventually starts affecting the way we see the world. Now, how do we see the world? Do we see the world as a place to grow? Or do we see the world where you can only win if somebody else is defeated or smashed? That is an important point to understand and reflect upon. Let's understand what kind of people tend to get more competitive in behavior, or how are those people surviving who thrive on competition. Now, firstly, these people mostly measure their self-worth by comparing themselves to others. For example, an athlete, for example, a sports person, or for example, a person where this person thinks that only by winning, only by securing the first position, this person has done something incredible or remarkable, rather than focusing on their own skill and ability. Second important thing that might drive or push a person towards being very competitive is that something about their intelligence or something about their certain skills or ability is being undermined. That's when a person tends to get very competitive. Or their competitors are almost at the same skill level. That drives them even more, right? Now, they could also understand that if the person who they are competing with is related to them in a personal way, this might be a chance for them to either defeat them or put them down. Now, this is another problem which arises in being very competitive. People might take it in a personal way. Some people tend to be very competitive when they have an audience to either cheer them or see them just by seeing them. And people really are under pressure when there are hundreds of people, thousands of people, or even a few people actually watching them and waiting for who's going to win. Now, if there are limited resources or limited positions, for example, there could be only one winner. These are certain situations in which a person turns to be very competitive. And most of the times, this happens in our offices, in our professional world, where you are going to get, your entire team is probably going to get only 2 or 3 promotions. This is where all of the people start to become very competitive in their work. Now, this serves 2 purposes, one good and one bad. That is, the good thing is they all strive for excellence. They all start working even better. They put in even more effort. However, the bad side of this is if they take it too far, they might start damaging the other person or their reputation or their work in some way. That's where the competition becomes quite risky. For example, if in a training or even while coaching individuals, I am talking about interview skills, I'm of course going to focus on how they can achieve a winning edge, on how they can work better and how they do get selected for that position. So the focus is on them. The focus is on winning that position, getting that job. However, if I'm training the same group on team management, I'm probably going to focus too much on how do you collaborate with each other, on how do you best leverage each other's strengths, and together as a team come out strong and achieve your goals. That's going to be the difference, where in collaboration, the focus is on the purpose, is on the goal, is on the common shared objective. Let's simplify all of this. Let's understand the pros and cons of competition. Now, in competition, the pros could be definitely it helps a person to become faster. It helps the person to perform to one's best ability. It improves your productivity. However, the cons could be that it might increase stress on you. It might increase pressure on you. It could also lead to resentment growing. So, like we took an example of a company, the employee resentment is a very common factor of the person not being able to cooperate in a team, coordinate with the team, or actually just quitting right away, right? Also, it could potentially cause malicious behavior in others. However, talking about collaboration, there's no focus on one person or how this person contributes. It's the overall contribution of the team or the project members that is addressed. Now, this reinforces cooperation. This reinforces communication. This reinforces coordination amongst people. Also, there could be a few innovative ideas, more fresh and creative ideas, because now there's not one person thinking, but there are many people giving their inputs, and they could brainstorm and turn one simple idea into something mind-blowing. There's improved delegation, there's improved division of work once there are lots of people working on something. So you have your area of work and somebody else has their area to work, and then you integrate this work. Naturally, it enforces quality because now there could be multiple levels of checking, verification, and quality control and quality tests. So yes, all of this has to work in tandem. They have to work together. It could also, very importantly, reduce the cycle times of output, of delivering something, because you're not just one individual doing something. You have an entire team working behind you or with you, and all of them know what to do. All of them, when they are well coordinated, it's the best way that collaboration could give you an incredible output. However, in spite of collaboration being so great, there could be a few problems with it. Now, because there are many people, all of them could have different styles of working, and it might not be it not necessarily matches to the working style of all these people. You might be someone who tends to be uncomfortable with this kind of working style. One more problem could be that because there are so many people, there could be many potential leaders as well. Now, you might think that you understand the whole project a lot better than others and you try to take control. Somebody else looks at it from a different perspective and thinks that he understands better and he has the leading potential or capability, or maybe he has a better rapport with people and people should listen to this person. On the other hand, because there are so many people working, some people might just take advantage of this very situation, thinking that that's okay, everybody else is working, it's fine if I don't work. And they might not push themselves to the best of their ability. These could be some basic cons while you are in collaborative process or behavior. Now, the cons of collaborative work generally manifest themselves only because you have a team of employees who are less capable of working together with other people. On one side, we see that collaboration tends to give you the maximum output, maximum delivery, maximum results. But if the people who are involved in the same project or working on the same thing, if they are not ready to accept each other, whether it is their working style, whether it is their even capability or strength, and if you think that you are probably good at something, but the other person is better, this person might not be able to take that. But overall, we realize that collaboration promotes synergy in a great way. And this is possible only when you all can trust each other. Let's see. So competition creates a win-lose scenario. Okay. But collaboration will always hold a win-win scenario. For example, we saw a wonderful example of how Apple and Samsung always competes, and this enables them to make better products every single time they launch a new one, right? This gives us more options to explore, to buy from, right? Now the technology keeps evolving, their products keep evolving, and the use of mobile phones, the way we use it, it keeps evolving. It keeps getting better. However, we've seen some tremendous collaborations as well. For example, in India, you might be very well acquainted with Maruti and the Suzuki. And they have been working in synergy, in collaboration since time and ages. And you've understood how it addresses the common problems of people here, as well as brings international standards in their technology. This is how both of them could be useful, but in different scenarios. Right now, collaboration, when people start trusting each other, they start contributing their ideas freely with each other. Okay, the moment one of them starts to disintegrate, to break down, the whole team is at risk. However, collaboration will flush out all the pitfalls and inefficiencies that one person might not think of. You might not think of such a risk, but somebody else can. And this foresight, or this different perspective, or this different way of thinking or working might overall be useful for the whole team too. So when the successes are shared in collaboration, the failures and losses are too. And that is still great, because then people have that courage to go ahead with something that involves risk too. So finally, after understanding all of that, do we think that collaboration is better than competition? Let's understand. Is a collaborative team better than a competitive one? Would you prefer a more competitive environment which encourages individual contribution? Like we saw a wonderful example where Messi was an individualist. His individual contribution led him to multiple successes and awards and trophies. So, do you love a competitive environment which encourages individual contribution, or improves your problem solving, or leads you to excellence, or leads you to innovate, to stay ahead at all times? Or would you want to opt for a work environment that all rests on a collaborative culture, which assures that each person has their voice, each person's contribution is valued, the whole environment is inclusive and respect, and in that environment everybody respects diversity? So when the whole team wins and everybody is working, look, the best way to look at this is, in that scenario, everybody is working towards the win of the team. Nobody is working against. However, in competition, you alone are working towards your win, and somebody else is working towards his or her win and your defeat. That is one way to look at it. And countless studies have shown that businesses use a more team-oriented, where there's more and more coordinated teamwork involved, to get better results and faster results. Like I told you, collaboration or team coordination or teamwork rests on the idea of win-win for everyone. So the great teams are made up of people who compete well. Yes, they have that competitive spirit. Like some of you mentioned, there has to be healthy competition. Respect each other's views and ideas and intelligence, and still all of them contribute equally because they have a bigger goal in front of them, and it is shared by all. So success comes from each member having a distinctive, unique, and special role, but all those roles complement with each other in the greater doing of things. Now, the best teams are those which combine this individual competitive drive with the understanding and importance and power of teamwork, of collaboration. Competition might encourage people to give their best. Collaboration encourages all of these teams to put each other's and their talent to best use for everyone's win. And that's how we can understand that there could be situations where competition is going to be of greater importance, or just the right fit. For example, if it is a sport, for example, like I told you, you could be in an interview situation. That's the place where you need to win. However, in most other situations, you might have to collaborate. Now, that collaboration could be of two huge organizations, or it could be a collaboration of two individuals giving something better to people. If you look at all my social media channels, whether it is Instagram or LinkedIn, and you see that I keep giving tips on several different topics of how people can evolve. And that is one way. And I could collaborate with other individuals, other experts in their area, and give more and more to people. Now, this is a win for everyone. And the moment you realize the power of both, the moment you realize how to leverage the power of both of these, whether it is competitiveness or whether it is collaboration, you mostly stand a great chance of winning, because now you understand both of them much better. So that was about the competition and collaboration aspects and a comparative study of both.